There's a difference between a movie that takes its time and a movie that simply takes too long to get to the point. Unfortunately, Disclosure Day falls into the second category. This is the kind of film that clearly wants to be seen as important. It wants audiences to walk away discussing its themes, its mysteries, and its message about humanity's place in the universe. The problem is that beneath all the serious conversations and dramatic music, there just isn't much there. What should have been an exciting sci-fi thriller ends up feeling like a slow and unfocused chase story that struggles to justify its long runtime. The movie follows Daniel, a government employee who works for a secret organization that has spent decades collecting and studying alien technology. After discovering information that could expose everything the agency has hidden from the public, Daniel steals important files and goes on the run with his girlfriend. At the same time, another storyline follows a television weather presenter who experiences a strange encounter and suddenly begins displaying unusual abilities connected to the same alien mystery. As the story unfolds, these two strangers become linked by forces they don't fully understand. Meanwhile, a government operative is hunting them down before they can reveal the truth to the world. On paper, that sounds like the setup for a tense conspiracy thriller. In execution, it's surprisingly difficult to stay invested. One of the biggest problems is that the movie never creates a strong sense of urgency. The heroes spend most of the runtime moving from one location to another while being chased by people who rarely feel threatening. Every time it seems like the story is about to become exciting, it slows down again for another conversation or another sequence that doesn't add much to the plot. The result is a movie that feels much longer than it actually is. A thriller is only as strong as its antagonist. That's where Disclosure Day struggles. The government forces pursuing the main characters never feel particularly dangerous. They're always one step behind, making mistakes, and failing to stop people who should realistically be much easier to catch. Because of that, there's very little suspense. You never get the feeling that the heroes are truly trapped or facing impossible odds. The film spends a lot of time building up secrets and revelations. The problem is that most viewers will probably figure out where things are heading long before the movie gets there. Many of the twists are predictable, and several of the biggest reveals feel less like shocking discoveries and more like confirmations of things the audience already suspected. For a movie centered around hidden truths, it rarely feels surprising. What makes the disappointment more noticeable is the comparison to some of Steven Spielberg's earlier science fiction films. Movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. the Extraterrestrial created a genuine sense of wonder and mystery. They made audiences feel like they were witnessing something extraordinary. Even War of the Worlds delivered large-scale events that felt important and world-changing. Disclosure Day clearly wants to stand alongside those films, but it never reaches the same emotional impact or sense of discovery. Another issue is that the movie feels strangely disconnected from modern audiences. Many of its themes and ideas feel like they belong to an earlier era of science fiction storytelling. The fascination with secret government programs, hidden alien contact, and massive cover-ups might have felt fresh decades ago. Today, those ideas don't carry the same excitement they once did. The movie treats its central mystery as something that should completely change the world, but it never convincingly shows why audiences should care that much. Disclosure Day isn't a terrible movie. It's competently made, professionally acted, and occasionally interesting. But it's also slow, predictable, and far less engaging than it wants to be. For a filmmaker with a legacy as impressive as Steven Spielberg's, expectations are naturally going to be high. That's why this movie feels so disappointing. Not because it's the worst film ever made, but because it feels like a project that never fully comes together despite all of its ambition. In the end, Disclosure Day spends more than 2 hours building toward a destination that simply isn't worth the journey. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. See you in the next video.